What's up, warriors? Welcome back to my channel. I'm being stupid and I'm still awkward a year later. What's up, warriors? Welcome back to my channel. Today, first of all, do not mind my bundled upness. I'm freezing, and it's not even like that cold outside. It's just really cold in my house, or maybe I'm just really cold. I'm always really cold. Anyway, so today what I wanted to talk about was transitioning from a restrictive diet to flexible dieting. I also want to talk about my experience with the transition, because I mean, I'm sure it's different with everybody. So, and I think it is something important to talk about because with the, well, first of all, we all come off of fad diets at some point in our life. We're like, oh, I need to lose weight. And we all think that in order to lose weight, we need to restrict ourselves of whatever, be it carbs, be it fats, be it calories in general. But sometimes we restrict too much calories. You know, bikini competitions are becoming a lot more popular these days, and for some it just ends up being another fad diet because it's not something that they want to do long term. It's not that they're trying to build a career through competing. They just want to lose a bunch of weight and show it off on stage. And you know, I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with that, but the thing is that like I don't think they are fully aware of what happens after a show or what's in store for them. So first off, I'll just give you a quick recap on what's happened in the last two to 3 years. When I first started with fitness, I discovered clean eating. And you know, that was great because it taught me what was whole foods versus something that was processed and packaged and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of started with that. That eventually gradually transitioned into counting calories, which transitioned into counting my protein, because I had started lifting and I wanted to make sure I was getting enough protein to make, you know, my gains. And then from there, I started learning about carb restriction. I kept dropping calories every time I didn't see any progress, and I kept limiting my carb intake as well. It got to the point where I was literally eating like, I was eating 1,100 calories at one point and like no carbs. I think I was getting carbs from cucumbers, and that's essentially water, so that doesn't count. I was pretty angry most of the time. I started noticing, like, I've told you about my past before with the binging and the whole peanut butter thing and whatnot, and so that had started then. And at the time, I just thought it was, I mean, it was a form of emotional eating, but there was also an aspect of it that was like, because I was so restricted, that my body was just like, oh, feed me. So before regulating any of that, because I'm so smart, I decided to compete. So I started my 12-week cut. I was up to, I think I was at 1,200 calories for the whole prep and 0 carbs. I did, however, have a couple of cheats in there, but they weren't controlled, responsible refeeds. They were like weekend binge eating because it was just like, oh God, it feels so good to eat something that's not like lettuce and dried chicken. So I competed, and I did really well. So I was pretty happy about that. It was exciting to see my body look different and all that kind of stuff. But, leading up to the competition, I did dehydrate. So once I finally started drinking water again, once I had my cheats or 2 or 3 or 4, my body blew up. It took a while for my body to get used to everything. I mean, it got to a point like I would eat 3 carrots and I'd get bloated. Like it was that intense. So it was, I want to say, demoralizing, because it was like, I just competed and looked amazing and it was the best I've ever looked in my whole entire life. And then it's like, why can't I eat like a piece of vegetable without blowing up and feeling like really gross and feeling really fat all the time? But then you kind of get into that like nasty cycle where it's like, well, I'm already looking like crap, I'm just gonna continue eating crap, which makes no sense whatsoever. But at that time, it just happens. So For 2 years, basically ever since my show, I have been on and off and on and off and on and off seasons, where basically I'm doing the same thing every single time, making the same freaking mistakes every time. Keep my carbs really low, keep my carbs really low, keep my carbs really low. And at first I'd be like, I'm doing really well, and then I'd end up in the same spot. Once I started doing a cut with carbs, but it was literally just oatmeal in the morning. The rest of the day I didn't have anything. So I mean, it was still low, and it wasn't enough. But that was at 1,500 calories, and I was losing about a pound a week, and that was exciting, and that was going well. But eventually I got sick and tired of that food as well, and I started craving other things, and not even necessarily junk. Like sometimes it was just like, I want something like nutrient dense and delicious, and it doesn't, you know, I don't want to make this too long. Basically, last winter, I started a new cut. My original competition diet was like 1,200 calories, but the thing is that both, like my carbs were really low, but my fats were pretty low too. So it was just like basically just eating a lot of protein with like no carbs and like a bit of fat. So I was just like, you know what, like this time, like let's try the same concept, except like to keep me fuller, one, I'll have more calories. So I started at 1,700. And I'll switch up the macro ratio a bit, where I'm actually doing the proper keto diet where the fats are a lot higher. And that keeps you like really full. And it did. I wasn't starving, like I was okay. And I did that for 8 weeks, and I had gone down to like my lowest that I've probably ever seen since my competition, to be honest. I managed to get down to about 122 before Christmas, which was pretty good. Like I was looking nice, like I liked it, except I was 122 flat, like depleted. So what does that mean really? Like I think an extra 3 to 4 pounds add, like for water and glycogen and all that. So did I get that low? Really? And then Christmas happened, and at first I was like, oh, I'm like in a great mindset. I'm not even excited to eat Christmas, but like once your body gets a taste of that sugar, it's all downhill from there. So suffice it to say, I blew up 10 pounds on Christmas, probably more. I refused to weigh myself the first week because I knew that like, you know, there's always that extra water weight to take into account. So I was like, let's just ignore the water weight and see like where we're actually starting from. And I was shocked to see that I was actually starting from like 10 pounds higher. So basically I had to do all of that work that I did in 8 weeks. I had to do it over again. So in 6 weeks, I'd gone back down to about 124. That was right before Valentine's Day. And then right before Valentine's Day, I had a dream where I saw eggs on the floor, and it was kind of like, it was like in the snow. And I thought to myself, like, I'm so hungry, like I want to eat it. And I'm like trying to scrape it off from the snow on the floor to eat it. Because I'm thinking, that's eggs, like I can eat that. That was gross, in my opinion. That's like the most disgusting food dream I've ever had in my life. But I woke up that morning thinking like, maybe I should eat something. So Valentine's Day weekend was kind of intense. We had pizza, we had brownies, and then the next day we had peanut butter sandwiches, and then some more pizza, and then some more brownies. And then come Monday, when I was supposed to start again, I was just like, ugh, I just didn't feel like it. And like I saw my weight, and the weight had gone up again, like 10 pounds. And I'm just like, what? The thing is that like you spend 6-8 weeks like dieting hard and trying to get to like that point, but then like when you have like just a bit of carbs, okay, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't a bit of carbs, but like even that, like to blow up so drastically, it was demoralizing. And then on top of that, like you guys all know, well, if you're new to my channel, you don't know, but every time I get on these diets, it's like my body knows right away, like, oh, let's hold on to everything, and I just don't go to the bathroom. And that too, like used to get really, really, really bad. And like you actually get cranky when you don't poop for a week, let me tell you. So instead of being motivated because your weight is dropping, you look like you're 3 months pregnant and the weight's going up and you're just like, why am I doing this? Because what's the point in doing this if I look like shit and I feel like shit all the time? All of that is to say, I spent 3 weeks doing my thing, doing what I do best, eating cookies and not giving a shit. I say I didn't give a shit, but I gave a shit. Because I didn't feel good and I didn't like myself. I didn't like what I was doing to myself. I didn't feel like I was respecting myself, my body, and all that kind of stuff. And I just felt kind of lost. So I put my foot down and I wanted to take control over the whole thing. And you know, like I look back and I said to myself, what was it that didn't work in the past? And it was, one, the calorie restrictions. Yes, I know you have to restrict a bit of calories if you want to lose weight, but it doesn't have to be that drastic. And considering that I've put on like a significant amount of muscle mass since my competition 2 years ago, I shouldn't be dieting on 1,200 calories. That is for damn sure. 2, restricting carbs. I'm all for keto diets if you're like a couple weeks out from a competition and you want to kind of like deplete things, like that's totally fine. But I think for long-term dieting, like I don't think it's sustainable unless you're planning to commit to it for life. And when I say carbs, I'm not saying like I want to eat all the cookies and have that in my diet and all that kind of stuff. Like no, I'm just talking about basic fuel, because don't forget, carbs are your initial source of energy, right? So your body needs that, your brain needs that. And let me tell you, like foggy brain is not fun either. Restriction of carbs, and every time that I would get some carbs and my body blew up, I would be discouraged. There was the lack of pooping, which was also very discouraging. The foggy brain, which, you know, I run my own business. I can't afford to not be able to think. And I'm already kind of like ADHD as it is. And so I need to be present. I need to be there. And for my clients, for my family, for my friends, in my relationship, like for everything. Like I like to be present. I literally got asked by somebody if I was a writer because I look like I'm frequently like lost in space looking for inspiration. So what I did was I took all of those factors and I formulated a new plan of attack. I had already started using flexible dieting for my keto diet back in November, and that was working really well because it allowed me to have a variety of foods. Even though I couldn't have like carbs, I still varied my vegetables, varied my fats within control, and I found that that itself worked well for me because it was like, okay, what am I gonna have this week? And I would plan like my meals for the week, but I could change it every week. You know what I mean? Like it didn't mean that I was always having meal 1, 2, 3 to 6 or whatever the same way. So new plan of action was I wanted to start with higher calories because I wanted to see truly what is the max I can get away with and still lose weight. And so I started myself off at 1900. I wanted more carbs. I wanted more fibrous carbs because I want to be able to go to the bathroom, damn it. No, but it's also because I want to be able to function. I want to feel like I have energy. I want to get stronger in the gym. So carbs are going to go up. I'm also the type of person, I should probably mention this, who likes to eat. I love food. I love eating lots of food all at once, and I love feeling really full. And so my days are really long, and that's another factor that was very discouraging, was that when I'm up at like 6 or 7 in the morning and I eat breakfast and I have X amount of calories to spread out throughout the whole day and I'm done at 10, like it's a long day, and I don't like feeling like I'm perpetually snacking all day, you know what I mean? So what I did was I also started intermittent fasting. So I basically eat between the hours of noon and 8, which allows my meals to be, like I only have 4 meals, but they get to be big meals. So I hardly feel hungry throughout the day. I don't really crave things anymore. So I formulated a flexible diet based on a high protein, high carb, slightly lower-ish fat, but because my calories were up, the amount of fats that I'm getting is still enough for my body. I started off with that. I started making myself weekly menus. based on whole, clean foods with fibrous carbs, a lot of complex carbs. I think the only simple carb would be my banana that I would have right after my workout. And so I started that for 2 weeks. Then one magical day, I didn't have enough time to eat, and I had 1,000 calories left in my feeding window. And my feeding window, I only had like half an hour left, and I was like, how the hell am I gonna eat 1,000 calories, clean calories, within that time? Like, I was like, this is gonna be painful because I just have like a lot of vegetables and like rice and that's gonna be a lot of chicken and egg and all that stuff. And I was just like not feeling it. And I knew it would be really uncomfortable. So I thought to myself, you know, like, I could try a flex bowl. You know, and anybody who's into fitness and is on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, like, it's food porn. It's really food porn. And like, for the longest time I criticized, or yeah, I guess you could say criticized, because, you know, like, I would see, you know, some of these people who are just like, I have Oreos every day, but I'm still like shredded and losing weight and whatever. But it's like, they have like one freaking Oreo a day, like, and like some other stuff too. And I was just like, how the fuck are you happy like eating one Oreo a day? Like, I don't get it. Like, if I'm gonna have one Oreo, it's gonna be one box of Oreos a day, you know what I mean? But so I wanted to test it out. I was really, really scared, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was nervous because I was just like, it's a lot of sugar, it's a lot of like processed foods, but it's the easiest way to get like 1,000 calories in before within a half an hour, and I don't have to cook anything. So that was fun too. So what I did was I basically had like protein cheesecake. So it was like casein and cottage cheese mixed together. So like, I got all my protein in there and then just like dumped a bunch of crap. I'll post a picture of my very first flex bowl ever. Anyway, and you know, I ate it and I was like, all right, like, it was good. There were elements that I liked better than others. But when I was done, I was just like, I don't want it anymore, which hasn't been normal for me for the last like 2 years. The last 2 years, if I had a taste of sugar, it would be like, I'm gonna rob my pantry. And so that was a very interesting feeling, to just be like satisfied with it. And then I had like 2 pots of tea afterwards, because I was just like, I don't want to hold any water after sugar and processed foods and blah. And the next day I dropped like 0.2 pounds. So I was like, interesting. And so the rest of the week I kind of played with these things. Like, I had smaller flex bowls, because let me tell you, that one flex bowl gave me, and it was fun and it was great, and it was, I want to say, slightly overrated, because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel a lot more full when I'm eating fibrous carbs, because it does take longer to digest. And I also do feel generally better, healthier, when I'm eating foods with, you know, vitamins. But yeah, the beauty of it was, once I was done kind of like experimenting with it that week, the following week I was like, you know, like, that was fun, but I kind of want a steak now, or I kind of want to eat some salmon with some veggies, or like, I really would like a salad this week. It's very empowering when you make the switch from I can't eat that to I don't eat that. And it makes a huge difference in your relationship with food. It makes a huge difference in your relationship with yourself too, because even though, I'm not gonna lie, I've been doing this for, I think I'm on my fourth or fifth week now. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't dropped a whole lot of weight. I think I've dropped like a pound of fat maybe in the last like 4 weeks, but I can tell you that my body has been changing. Progress is slow, but it's progress nonetheless. And, you know, I'm getting stronger in the gym, just like I wanted to. I'm going to the bathroom every day, sometimes twice a day. And I don't feel like I'm starving, and I don't feel like I'm foggy brained. I'm very present, like I wanted. So far, so good. Now, I don't want to say that like, now I'm this like pro flexible dieter, and I'm not gonna lie, it does take just as much discipline. All of this to say is that it's something that I definitely encourage, and I challenge you to take charge of your diet and put your foot down and decide what works for you, what doesn't, and ignore what other people are saying and figure out what's right for you. Because remember, like, we're thinking long term, right? Like, I mean, again, unless you're dieting down for a competition, it does not have to be that painful. And it doesn't have to be restrictive. It has to be your life. It's something that you have to be able to maintain. So be smart about it. Don't restrict yourself. And, you know, remember that this is from somebody who can go through a jar of peanut butter and still find herself hungry later. It is possible, and you can find joys in moderation. You don't have to stuff your face. And if you feel like you need to, you have to, and that hunger, that urge is like overwhelming, it's time to review your diet. It's time to review your goals and sit down, whether it's with your coach, be it with yourself, and talk about it. Talk about what's working, talk about what's not working, talk about things that are non-negotiable. For me, not being able to crap was non-negotiable anymore. Like I had enough, you know? So, because this is your life and it's your health that matters. You also have to decide that it's something that you're gonna commit to as well. You can't start flexible dieting and then decide like, well, it didn't work this 1 week. It does take time. I had tried flexible dieting many times in the past, but it was when I was freshly coming off of like restricted diets. And so once like the doors open to all of the options of the world, you start eating all of the options in the world in that one day. So what I highly recommend for people who are just starting is to create menus for the week. Try not to necessarily do it on the fly, because you know, it's something that if you're coming off of something that's a bit more restrictive or a bit more structured in terms of meal plans, it's gonna screw around with you a little bit. So what I recommend is to start by plugging in your macros. You do your groceries and you say, okay, what do I have to work with? And you make a menu, and then you keep going. And so you follow that menu for a week. You can give yourself maybe like one small cheat, like meal or whatever, something that's not tracked, let's call it, an untracked meal per week, just to kind of break the routine a little bit. And then from there, and I would also recommend doing it clean at the beginning, minus the untracked meal. And then only later, once you're in the flow of it, start incorporating, you know, like the little treats and the foods that you kind of want to fit in there. You know, you can start playing around with your macros and that. It is a slow process, but it is totally worth it. I guarantee it. You're going to notice that your relationship with food will change completely. And again, this isn't to say that I want you to be able to get away with eating pizza and beer and ice cream every day. Like, it's not about that. And you'll see a lot of flexible dieters, yeah, they're posting, like, that's all it seems like they're posting is like all the flex bowls, or like, this is the ice cream I ate last night, or like, look at the pizza, and like, I didn't lose any weight and I'm still shredded. But remember that that's just one meal, and that doesn't mean that for the rest of the week that's what they ate, or the rest of the day that that's what they ate. Like, they probably made sure that they got their protein in earlier on that day. So again, like, everything you see on social media, take it with a grain of salt, because I mean, it's so, I mean, it would be boring for them to post like their chicken and broccoli that they probably had earlier that day to make room for the ice cream later. You know what I mean? I try to post both just to show that like it is important to balance the two. But again, like, obviously, like, there's one picture that's gonna get more likes than the other one, but that's what it is. Anyway, so I hope this video was helpful to you. And if it was, please give it a thumbs up. It really does support my channel when you do. If you like more of my blah blahs, or if you want more recipes, or whatever it is you want to see more of, workouts, for example, let me know in the comments below and I will keep doing my thing. And yeah, if you are new to my channel, hello, you should probably subscribe. I highly recommend. We have fun here. It would be nice to make another friend and connect. So I will leave you with that. This video is probably way too long, so I'm gonna just cut it there. Stop talking, Sophie. Okay, Sophie. Like, subscribe, comment. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye. What's up, warriors? Welcome to another year of Sophie Fitness. If you like my videos, don't forget to give it a like, comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already. You can click that button that's right under my name. I'll catch you guys in the next video.